Keepers always have issues with fingers. Help his cause at all, I'm sure.
Now that one stood up steeply, for sure. I do wonder if there's going to be any little marks that are being created. That one hits properly on the glove, and it's the release of the bat just to try and stem the flow of pain that goes up through the body.
I can just hear him actually through the stump microphone at the moment. He's groaning a bit out there, so he's not particularly happy about this one. Just a couple of noises from him, letting us know that it's not a comfortable feeling.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on the Pakistan physio, Cliffy Deacon. He's one of the harder men in cricket, old school. He just stood up ever so quietly and just watched. I'm sure Rizwan would call him if he was in a bit of strife, but yeah, that's a beauty. Those are the ones that always hurt. Squeezes down on the bat handle. Those are never fun.
A bit of an inside nick on that occasion. You'll find that wicketkeepers go into games these days, particularly test matches, they've always got damaged fingers. So when they're out there batting, they do happen to get one also. It just gives them a smack on that, on the flesh, and livens something up in that finger that they've been looking after for the last week. It's far from ideal for them. Healthy nick. Drifting in a little bit that time, but a nice controlled drive this time by Rizwan. Good solid stuff after the break with that shot. Tag teamwork. 3 the result.
Yeah, that was a nasty punch, just slightly over pitched, but not full enough to allow a full flow of the bat. Just had to kind of wait for it to get to him. Just held it, or maybe he couldn't squeeze that bottom hand as hard as he'd want to after the contact with 2 balls before. Yeah, Hazy, with wicketkeepers, if you ever shake their hands at the back end of their career or 2 or 10 years after they've retired, you get a good feeling for what they go through.
Oh, that's a beauty. That's gone away from a fairly full length as well. End of the first over after the break, 91 for 4.
You get the feeling there's almost like a bit of a trampoline on the length there. These ones are standing up steeply. That one's climbed and taken above shoulder height from a fullish length delivery. As a bowler, you just love to see that. That means it's carrying through and pinging through nicely. On your point, Murray, about what I felt like after lunch, depending what was on offer. If there was a good grub, it might take me 4 or 5 deliveries just to get going.
Jansen. He'll be hoping on Jansen that his radar is going to be when he was all over the show. Came back just for the one before the interval. Started with a couple down the leg side, and then seemed to be on track a little bit. So you want to start well and start building from that.
Yeah, and he felt that Marco Jansen was a little bit 2 lengths from him. And the other bowlers have settled in quite nicely on the top of the stump's length. He's just been a little bit inconsistent in terms of those lengths. So he's one of those bowlers, if he can find that right length, with it getting it to stand up with his height, became an absolute handful. So this will be an important spell for him after lunch now.
Because of the carry you can get, that slips cordon's quite deep. It's not bowling with any great pace at the moment. He'll ease into that a little bit. He'll build from a base.
The Sean Pollock theory. Maybe the grub was so good here. It's taking a little bit of time to get going, get the diesel engine working. It's a long way down to get all that food processed.
The crowd is building up even more after lunch. First day, the Jansen is good for the day from a rain point of view. that's
Yeah, much better from Marco Jansen.
Big shout from Verreynne, which is probably not going to surprise many people that he's up and shouting.
Yeah, cuts him in half for Rizwan. This is the danger of Marco Jansen. It can seem like he's been a bit docile or not really hitting the deck, but with that bounce and ability just to get the odd one to stand up and climb, he can cause trouble for anyone on any surface around the world. That one nips back sharply. I think it's bat making contact with the pad that maybe makes the noise as it goes past.
And that one held his line. Top stuff this from Marco Jansen.
Yeah, much better for Marco Jansen. Getting the ball to talk. Lines have been consistent. The lengths have been even better. As you mentioned, you can get one to rise off a length. That one just squatting ever so slightly going across Rizwan, but when you have got a bowler that can get the ball to stand up like this, it's so difficult to get settled and find a rhythm as a batter. Asking the right questions is Marco Jansen.
Releases from well over 2 meters as well. And that's bang on target. So that's a very well constructed over for Marco Jansen. 91 for 4.
Looks like there was a little bit of negotiation with Dad as who's going to be batting first there. And the boy with the 10 on his back, he won the choice.
Oh, that's not that far away from that off stump, as Rabada has realised.
Yeah, this is disconcerting. You don't really want to be seeing this on day one of the Test match. You've seen a couple of deliveries bounce steeply and really cause a lot of problems, even in the last over, a wrap in the gloves. And then that's a similar length. It's left because they're judging it on the deliveries from the last over, and that one stays down.
Slightly overpitched.
Yeah, Gunnams missed out on that one. That is one that he could have put away. There hasn't been many overpitched and been freebies. Smile on his face. Maybe that's the comments that he's passing down to his captain to say, well, sorry, should I say his one-day international captain, to say, well, I've missed out on that one. Jangle down the leg side.
Oh, that's a nice punch. That's nicely controlled. Went in front of square. It's a satisfying shot. Really good work, that one.
Yeah, it's a shot that you have to play well up in the high foul. And he'll get opportunities with the extra bounce, but he's ridden it well. Rocking back beautifully with a high elbow and just punching it through that offside for a boundary.
What's also so good about this one is if you just think of the last 5 or 6 deliveries that have been received from there, one stood steeply, one stayed low. So just to trust the bounce and be able to hit it at the top of it is exceptional.
Now that one has gone sideways some distance. That has seemed a lot. They're going to have just a little bit of a discussion about that. I wonder if there's an indentation that has just hit. The track was not particularly hard this morning. There's bound to be a couple of indentations out there already, I would imagine. I think we've seen at the back there's a couple of courts. Looks like nicely organised just next to the car parks there. When we arrive in the mornings, there's always some action.
Yeah, some paddling and not on the Head-Ups River.
Hasn't got that right out of the middle, but Bavuma's got a hand on that to save what would have been a boundary, I presume.
What was that, Hazy, that Temba just did there?
A ball of a kissing.
I knew you couldn't resist. He's actually done well because Rizwan, as he made contact, you thought that was going to go away, and this outfield's quick enough to have taken it to the fence. So it's a good little parry. We can see another example how the ball is not coming out of Marco Jansen's hand in the fashion that he would have liked to. don't know if he got a warning for running down the wicket, or might have been a few comments with Marco Jansen. He's never short of wanting to get involved in a bit of a verbal contact, old Rizwan.
Yeah, he and Heinrich Klaassen had a few words in the one-day game in Paarl.
That one actually came out of his hand okay compared to some of the others we've seen from Marco Jansen. And it's funny, it's just something that happens in a bowler's career, is you have odd games where the rhythm just doesn't feel right and the release doesn't feel like you want it.
Around the wicket now, short. He likes playing that shot. Rizwan, there are two men back, but he gently controls it.
Yeah, don't mind this play around the wicket from Marco Jansen. He's changing the angle. If you can get that wrist right that you talk about, he can get the ball to straighten from around the wicket. Awkward angle when it comes into you from that height. You saw well Rabada did coming around the wicket to the left-handers.
Yeah, I don't mind it for a bit, but I think the over he bowled previously, the previous over, was such a good one from over that I thought he found his straps there. That's clubbed. That's a really good solid shot from Ghulam.
Straight away Jansen turns around and looks back at the crease, and as he walks back he gives it a kick, but this is just a bit of a freebie. It's banged in, there's nothing really behind it. It's just short, it's just wide, and it's just asking to be put away. And come on, Ghulam is looking for anything he can latch onto. He's got 31 or 30 deliveries, so